It seems a new era of Chromebooks is upon us as Google's latest Chrome OS device is finally available with the arrival of the Samsung Galaxy Chromebook Plus. And with this new machine comes new capabilities like the implementation of the quick insert key and new AI-powered features, all bundled into this fresh, super thin, premium look and a gorgeous AMOLED display, the first for a Chromebook Plus device. From what I can see, this is definitely a flagship Chromebook if I've ever seen one, and don't worry, I'll give you a quick rundown of everything you need to know. First up, let's talk about what's actually new here with the addition of the quick insert key. This is the first Chromebook Plus device on the market to have one, replacing the search key found in older models. Google says this is the standard on Chromebooks moving forward, giving you quick access to a ton of AI features like help me write, help me read, and live translate, but it does a lot more as it can also give you quick access to recently visited websites, Google Drive files, your clipboard history, and emojis. It will definitely take some time getting used to as I've never had a machine with this kind of capability, but it kind of reminds me of the touch bar on older MacBooks where you always had quick access to a handful of functions, so I'm excited to see how Google builds on this in the future. And speaking of new keys, there is another revision to the keyboard with the addition of the G key. There doesn't seem to be an official name, so we're just calling it the G key for now. Anyways, this is a completely separate button that sits next to the spacebar and replace the previous launcher key. Functionally, it will still open the app grid and be an integral part of keyboard shortcuts, but same as the quick insert key, the G key will now be the standard on all future Chromebooks as well. This Chromebook also debuts a ton of new features that will eventually make its way to existing Chromebook Plus devices. Help Me Read is a new addition that can summarize websites and PDFs with a right click, and you can ask questions about that content. There's a new recorder app that captures audio and gives real-time transcripts, speaker labels, as well as summaries using Gemini Nano. Live Translate will work in local and online videos, as well as meetings to translate in over 100 languages, and there's a new studio mic feature that will reduce noise and room reverb with an AI-based mic simulation during video calls.
Testing, testing, testing. This is a recording with the studio style mic on. Testing, testing, testing. This is a recording with the studio style mic off.
Plus, there's a new welcome recap feature being rolled out to all Chromebook devices, giving you an overview on what you were doing before you logged out, and you have quick access to pick up where you left off, which I find comes in handy quite often. So that's everything new Google has introduced starting on the Galaxy Chromebook. Now let's talk about the actual device itself. It comes in this gorgeous grayish blue aluminum chassis and feels exactly like what you would expect from a $700 Chromebook for the most part. Samsung says it's the thinnest and lightest Chromebook Plus machine at 0.7 inches thick and 2.58 pounds. It's about 0.5 millimeters thicker than the MacBook Air, making it super easy to hold and carry around. The display portion is also shockingly thin, which I will touch on a bit more, but as a whole, this portability is perfect for students or writers or anything that needs a large screen and a solid keyboard on the go. Speaking of the keyboard, I've used it quite a bit over the past week, and it has great feedback. It feels spacious, it feels comfortable, it's backlit with a numeric keypad, not something we see often, so I don't have one single complaint here. But there's a bit more to this keyboard that I should mention, like a dedicated accessibility key that gives you quick access to essential accessibility features like the screen magnifier, color inversion, select to speak, and more, so you don't have to go digging into the settings to gain access to these items. And next to it, you will find a voice dictation key. Hitting that button will allow you to immediately start speaking your desired text instead of typing it, and it will put that text in a field for you, perfect for if you need to go hands-free. The trackpad is huge and feels great to use. It's smooth, responsive, and feels solid with no weird flexing or inconsistencies. The whole inside is coated in a simple soft touch plastic, and the device as a whole is quite aesthetically pleasing with the functionality to match, since the device has a wide variety of ports, that being 2 USB-C, 1 USB-A, an HDMI, a micro SD card slot, and a 3.5mm headphone jack, so you should have more than enough here. Again, no complaints. I will say though, the gorgeous 15.6-inch 1080p AMOLED display is probably one of the best parts of this Chromebook, and at least for now, it's the only Chromebook Plus model that does offer AMOLED. For me, this is what sets this Chromebook apart from the others out there. The bezels are super thin, the screen is crisp, vibrant, and the display does get super bright at almost 400 nits, almost on par with the newest MacBook Air that sits around 500 nits. Another aspect I love is is that 15.6-inch display size. Yes, I know, to some people it might be considered too big, but to me, this guy gives me all the space I need to have a productive work session since I have so much room for split screen multitasking. Paired with the thin and light design, I find it to be super portable and easy to handle while I'm out and about, literally the perfect machine for productivity, at least in my use case. On the downside though, I was really hoping for a touchscreen at this price point, although considering how thin the lid of the laptop is, it might have been better to exclude it. I love how thin it is, but I find the display flexes when I tried to adjust it one-handed, something that definitely does not happen on my 14-inch MacBook Pro, and overall, I don't think the screen on the Samsung Galaxy Chromebook Plus would hold up well in a drop, let alone the constant poking, prodding, and interaction from having a touchscreen, so for me, and probably the sake of durability, I can certainly live without it. Let's talk about software, and by now you should have a good idea of what to expect from Chrome OS, even with all the updates it's received over the years. At a base level, it's still the fast, responsive, and lightweight operating system you should be familiar with, while also having a ton of utility with access to the massive library of Android apps, a multi-layered security system so you don't have to worry about installing an antivirus, and deep integration with an Android phone if you have one with the use of Phone Hub. For those who don't know, Phone Hub is a feature introduced in early 2021 that allows you to seamlessly integrate your Android phone with your Chromebook. It lets you manage your notifications, messages, and recent Chrome tabs. You can tether your phone's internet connection to the Chromebook with ease and even stream your phone apps to the Chromebook, so you never have to actually touch or open your phone in order to use the data from it. Personally, I absolutely love this feature, and to me, this is one of the best things Google has done with their devices to keep them well integrated with each other. Before we wrap up, there are a few somewhat negative things I wanted to point out about this Chromebook. The speakers, for example, are decent at best. Maybe my expectations are way too high coming from the 14-inch MacBook Pro, but I find they're barely loud enough to overpower a small window air conditioning unit. They get the job done, and they're good enough for a Chromebook, but you will certainly need earbuds to get the best experience. And another aspect that I just really felt strongly about is the lack of biometrics. For the $700 price point, I find it strange there's no fingerprint scanner or face unlock, as that would really complete this machine. Last but not least, I wanted to get battery out of the way real quick. Google claims this Chromebook can last for up to 13 hours on a single charge. While I didn't have enough time to fully test that claim, I do have my doubts, especially if you're operating over maybe 60% brightness. Realistically, around 40% brightness, doing things like writing papers, web browsing, or content consumption, I think you might be able to hit 9 hours, and if you really conserve power using power save mode on the lowest brightness, you might be able to hit 13 hours, but for most users that want to use their devices comfortably, I'd expect anywhere between 7 to 10 hours of battery life. So with all that in mind, what is the final verdict? This Chromebook is certainly a more premium machine with great hardware, being super thin, incredibly portable with a stunning AMOLED display and a comfortable keyboard that can keep you going anywhere for quite a long time. Compared to cheaper Chromebook Plus devices, the difference is night and day when it comes to the overall hardware experience, whereas on the software side of things, all Chromebook Plus devices have feature parity, so you're not missing too much there. But at $700, you're getting into used or refurbished MacBook Air territory, which objectively will offer more versatility for intense tasks like 3D modeling, video editing, and non-cloud-based gaming. But if you're looking for those capabilities, you're probably not in the market for a Chromebook anyway. For general productivity work, this Chromebook is a fantastic choice, and if you can snag one on sale for maybe $500 or $600 this holiday season, it will be an absolute steal. With that said, what do you think of Google's newest Chromebook Plus device? Do you think it's worth the $700 price tag? What are your thoughts on the new quick insert key? And overall, what do you think of the new Chrome OS features? Leave a comment down below, but in the meantime, I'm getting out of here. Before I do, huge shout out to our channel members on screen right now for supporting us as we work super hard to make the best Android content possible. And don't forget to grab the new October wallpaper pack in the community post. Until next time, this has been Jordan Floyd with 9 to 5 Google. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.